When this movie's predecessor, Dune, came out in 2021, everybody kind of had the same opinion. And that's an opinion that I share as well, which is that it was a good movie that was a little bit too long, kind of boring in parts, and really butchered the ending because it didn't really have one. It just kind of like climaxed in the middle with the Harkonnens betraying um, Paul and his family and House Atreides, and then the movie just kind of like has more expands on the exposition, and then the movie just kind of ends, and you're like, okay, that kind of sucks. I'm really happy to report this movie is basically like the complete opposite of that. Everything I have to say about this is positive. Let's talk about Dune Part 2. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, click on that red subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know whenever I post a new piece of content. So something happened to me last night that has never happened to me in a movie before. I went to go meet a friend at the theater. Before I went, I took a shower and, got all ready to go, put on my baseball cap and took off. But I did look at myself in the mirror before I left because I'm a grown up, and I made sure that I didn't have food in my teeth or my hair was okay. And I did not have anything wrong with my face. When I came back from seeing Dune Part 2, I walked in the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and my left eye had a busted blood vessel. I don't know if it's the incredibly loud sound system that they had at the IMAX where I saw this movie, or it was like sensory overload, because I love the hell out of this movie. This is a great science fiction film. This is one of the best science fiction films I've ever seen. And I'm somebody who really loves a good sequel. I like when a movie takes what worked the first time and expands on it. And Dune Part 2 does that in every way. You can't see it, but on my wall I have two movie posters. I didn't even think about this when I purchased these like a month ago to put them on the wall. They're both sequels. They're both movies I love, but they're both sequels. Spider-Man 2, a movie I reviewed a couple weeks ago, and then Return of the Jedi, my favorite Star Wars movie. Both I think are just phenomenal sequels, and this joins them along with films like Terminator 2 and The Godfather Part 2 as a sequel that is, I actually think the original Godfather is better, but for the purpose of this review, a sequel that is better than the original, right? Something that just takes everything that worked about the first one, blows it up to 11, and everything finally seems to click into place exactly as it should. This is the type of movie that just obliterates the argument that there are no good sequels, which has always been stupid. But the music, the score by Hans Zimmer is tremendous. The performances by Javier Bardem, Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet. It's great to see Christopher Walken in something again. He's not in anything. He plays the Emperor. His role's not super substantial, but he's in the movie enough for me to be like, hell yeah, Christopher Walken, let's go. Florence Pugh is great. Rebecca Ferguson is awesome. Everybody here is tremendous. I really think Dune 2 is extremely special. I haven't seen a movie twice in the theater probably in over a decade. I just don't. I'm an adult now. I don't have the time to go see a movie twice in the theater. I might go see this one again, and soon, because this movie is awesome. This is a theater movie. This is one of those movies you have to go get that cinematic experience to really fully appreciate and enjoy everything from the cinematography to the score to the action, all of that stuff. And the script is obviously really good based on the Frank Herbert books, but they took my biggest critique and everybody's biggest critique of the first movie, which is the ending. The last 45 minutes of this movie are insane. And I mean that in the best possible way. The ending of this movie is just it's just like an incredible series of action sequences and twists and great performances and And as great as all of that stuff is, none of that big, meaty cinematic stuff ever does anything but serve the story. It's all in service of the characters and the narrative and the story that Denis Villeneuve is trying to tell. And that's what makes this movie so great. That's what happens when everything clicks into place. And really, this is a great film. I was so impressed with Dune Part 2. You have to see it, and you have to see it in the theater. It's really that simple. And it's a shame that the movie, I think a lot of people will be like hesitant to see this because the first one really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because it was so slow and kind of boring, and it was kind of boring. Let's just be realistic here. This movie is just not. It is a slow burn. It doesn't just kick off with like a ton of amazing like action sequences. It's not that type of movie. The movie does build and build and build and build, but then when it gets where it wants to go, it's all of it's incredible, and it makes you appreciate those quieter moments at the beginning of the film and the humor that's spread throughout, and just the tremendous performances across the board. So Dune Part 2 is a special movie. I really cannot recommend it enough. It's also pretty incredible that they accomplished such a cinematic achievement on the budget they did. I think they spent like $190 million on the production of this movie, which is amazing. And it's nice to see Warner Brothers get one right, because I dunk on them all the time because they suck for the most part. Get it together, put out Coyote versus Acme. Everyone wants to see that movie, but you guys are gonna shove? What the hell are you doing? But it also makes me wonder why Disney has not backed up the Brinks truck to this director and said, hey, here's all the money you could ever want, make a Star Wars trilogy. They'll never do it because they're stupid, as I have stated on this channel a million times. And then you look at like what Disney's doing, and they put out The Marvels, which has like a $270 million budget. How that movie costs $80 million more than this is beyond me. That might be after you include the marketing, but I do know that this movie costs at least $25 million. The Marvels cost at least $25 million more to make than Dune Part 2, which is just completely insane. This movie is so good. It looks incredible from top to bottom, start to finish. And again, you can't understand how good the characters and the performances are here. And this movie ends on a cliffhanger. We're gonna get a third one. This is how you make a proper second movie. The best comparison I can make is Empire Strikes Back. That's it. I hope you found this review helpful. I hope you like it. If you like the channel, if you want to watch more, subscribe. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear what people think about Dune Part 2. Love to have that dialogue and conversation. Let me know, and I will see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Bye.